Anyway, sorry. You were talking about your kids.
No, it's fine. It's the first lawyers that we had were appointed attorneys because again, so you get out of jail and they, like I said, they didn't serve us any of the documents related to the child custody case. So we had no idea. We started hearing from our relatives about some hearing that was coming up. And we're like, what is the hearing for? And they're like, we don't know. Like, well, why? Like, what are you talking about a hearing for? We don't know anything about it. And we couldn't look it up because you can't look up child custody stuff. They have it all the names are protected. But there wasn't even a hearing listed at the time we were supposedly having a hearing. So then the government shows up at my house and they're like, oh yeah, are you coming to the hearing today? It's, are you coming to the hearing today? The one about your kids. And it's like, yes. What the fuck? I said, when are you going to actually service the papers? They said, well, we don't have to. And it's like, well, I mean, you kind of do
it though. Yeah.
You kind of have to, except they don't because they just have your children and they don't have to do anything like you. And then you have to fight for it.
Yeah.
And the leverage that they always have is, okay, you can fight, but we'll just make it take longer. Slimo Jones says there's whining in the background. I think one of your kids are crying because they're starving or want more cocaine. The stuff that got you here to begin with.
Guys, the kids were never on cocaine. That's like if that's not what you get from this, the state saying, "Oh yeah, you could have your kid back," then you are a fucking retard. Which I've been telling you you're a retard from the beginning, but I was willing to let this work out before I say, if you don't get it now, that there was never any issue. You're just straight up fucking retarded.
If you guys had if you guys don't realize that if the state had any inkling that we had given a child cocaine, that we would be charged with felony child abuse. Like
you'd be dead.
The kids would not be around. That would not be a thing. Like not just not be around. Like we may not be out of jail until our hearing or until our like trial. Like that's an extremely serious crime. This is what Nick's doing. He's like, nope, that's not it at all. I don't know.
I like that legal guy, that guy with the one eye on the law and the one eye on the Thai lady boys. That guy, fucking Walleye Esquire. What is his?
He puts the limp in Pimp Limp.
Oh yeah, he has a limp.
Oh, dude,
I don't know anything about that guy. He just seems to be on the he seems to be on the popular side of the law. Every time I hear from him, he's like, "Oh yeah, this is."
You can also find him on Fresh and Fit. Hello, fellow Chads.
Yeah. Last time I heard from him was Dick doesn't know anything about cocaine. I said, okay. Sure thing.
Does
buddy.
he?
You don't know anything about Thai lady boys either, I'm sure.
Family Services ignored all of those reports. All the reports that said that the kids were hungry or didn't have clothes, which is ludicrous. If you have any concept of how many clothes we have, you guys don't. My kid's closet looks like a fucking Goodwill. Like it's just racks.
Well,
and
now
racks
they're going to say that, they're going to say that's because your home's in squalor. Nick.
Right. Yeah. No, I get it. It's fine. It's, but it doesn't, it's like what people,
it's so fucked up.
There's a myopia of, I'm going to say this, it sounds rude, but there's a myopia of poverty is what I call it. I've coined it. Okay. And it's when people, it's not necessarily financial poverty. It's poverty of anything, poverty of information, experience, education, doesn't matter. But the myopia of poverty is when your experience is so far removed from some other experience that you can't fathom the situation that must be occurring. And so you apply your own situation into it. So what people hear is they hear there was lots of laundry on the ground and they go, man, if I had lots of laundry on the ground, it would look like X. And it's like, and then I wouldn't have laundry to wear. It's like, oh, no. You don't understand how many clothes our children have. We have a 16-year-old down to a 6-year-old, which means we have hand-me-down. Oh, and my wife comes from a huge family. We have hand-me-downs for days. We have new clothes for days. Like our kids have just fucking tons of clothes and we don't really get rid of them between the two ages because you save up. Like when one kid grows out of some stuff, You save it because the next kid's going to grow into it. So
Right.
and you start getting rid of the stuff at the youngest levels, but in the meanwhile, you have a bunch. And so, yeah, was there a bunch of laundry in the house? Absolutely. It was incidentally, it was sorted into piles so that it could be washed in the laundry room that it was adjacent to. But hey, who's counting? That being
Does
said,
sound like a Goodwill.
yeah, it kind of does, except with less less people who don't speak English in it.
Yeah.
But no, the whole interesting thing about it though is despite all of the remember my house was called an overall dirty home because it had dust on the vents.
Oh, it's fucking cops.
Oh, I know. It's so fucking fun. It's like they're dust on the vents. Okay. But all of that stuff about the hungry kids, the not having clothes and all that, that was all ignored by CPS. It was all ignored entirely because there was no basis to it. And as they did their investigation, which their initial thing when they hear this stuff is, oh my God, right? They did their investigation and continued to find that there was no basis for any of it.